best types of basketballs for beginners. I'm Tony, welcome back to Streetball Strategies.
Leave no witnesses when I tear through. I got a few things that'll air you. Young and old, anybody can get it. Anybody who listens to intercoms and attendance, get them gone, let them know this is more than a scrimmage.
If you're a beginner basketball player, or if you're thinking about buying a basketball for a beginner basketball player, and you want to get the most appropriate basketball for a beginner, this is the video for you. As I have repetitively said on this channel, when it comes to basketball, one of the great things is you don't need much to play basketball. You really only have two tools when it comes to being a basketball player. You need a decent basketball and you need decent basketball shoes. Everything else is usually provided for you. Say the court, the rims, everything like that. All of that stuff is, publicly available to you. Really, the only thing you have to bring with you to the court is a good ball and good shoes. And for beginner players, I really do feel like there is a hierarchy that takes place in terms of what kinds of basketballs you should have as you progress through your basketball career. So let's talk about where you should start, what the best kind of outdoor beginner basketball you can get. Quick intro to those of you who are not aware of what kinds of different basketballs there are. First of all, you have rubber basketballs. Rubber basketballs are usually the most affordable and they are meant for outdoor play. On the other end of the spectrum, you have leather basketballs that are meant specifically and only for indoor play, and they're super crazy expensive, at least they can be. And then in the middle, you have either composite or synthetic leather, which is basketballs that are made up of different composite or synthetic materials so that they can then be used outdoors and last being used outdoors, but are also suitable for shooting and playing indoors as well. Getting back to the hierarchy I was talking about when it comes to basketball players, I really do feel like beginner basketball players should start at the beginning with the basic tools. So when it comes to basketballs, that means basic rubber basketball. The progression, the hierarchy is rubber, then composite, then you going indoor and playing with leather basketballs. However, not all rubber basketballs are made the same. There are super cheap rubber basketballs, and I'm sure you're aware of, that you can find at the dollar store or on the shelf at Walmart that are like, anywhere from $3 to $5 to $8, and they're just really super basic rubber basketballs. And then there are more advanced rubber basketballs that can cost anywhere up to like $30. Now, before you rush out and get the cheapest basketball, rubber shelf basketball that you can find, let me stress to you that don't worry about the kind of money you're going to be spending on a rubber basketball. The intent of rubber basketballs are to be used, maybe even abused, if you're talking about beginners, and then to be replaced within a short period of time. My opinion is, whatever kind of basketball you're using, I like that basketball to last for around a year at least. But when you're talking about basic rubber basketballs, balls that are meant for beginners, those balls are probably going to have to be replaced more often than that. We're talking around the 6 to 9 month period, maybe as short as 3 or 4 months, depending on the frequency of use and thus the wear and tear that's introduced to that basketball. But my point being that you should not cheap out and buy the cheapest rubber basketball you can find because you don't want to spend the money. You should think of this as an investment. So whether you're buying it for yourself or someone else, think about it like this. If you go out and you pay, say, $8 for a rubber basketball, super cheap, super basic, right? That player may use that basketball, immediately and go through a few weeks of using that basketball. If they like the basketball, if they put it through moderate use, that cheap basketball is probably going to need to be replaced within like 2 months, because it's cheap, it's basic, it's going to lose all its grip. When the basketball loses its grip, it's not really usable anymore. You have to be able to grip a basketball in order to use it, train with it, learn with it properly. Cheap $8 basketballs are going to lose their grip really quickly, and then they're going to have to be replaced again. So like every 2 months you're going to have to be replacing that basketball. So it's $8 every 2 months. In comparison, if you think about this as an investment, right, If you go on even the higher end and spend $30 for a rubber basketball, that rubber basketball is probably going to last 6 months, maybe 9 months, depending on the frequency of use. But that's $30 every 6 months compared to $8 every 2 months. In the end, it's not that much of a price difference, but in terms of experience, in terms of quality of basketball, it's a huge difference. Just because it's a beginner basketball for a beginner player, you want to try to invest in that player's future by giving them a good quality basketball. If the ball is cheap and it breaks down within a couple of months, the likelihood is they're going to stop using it because it's going to be unusable and they may never come back to it. They may never come back to basketball. As opposed to if you spend the money for good quality rubber basketballs and that ball lasts month after month, then when it comes time to replace that basketball, that player is going to be even more incentivized to buy another good quality basketball so they can keep that good basketball experience going. The question then becomes, well, then which basketball do I choose? How do I know which basketball I should get? Well, I do have a video about how to choose a good quality basketball, but for this video, when we're talking about beginners, I will give you a recommendation, which is actually this basketball. This is the Wilson DRV. Really, the main reason that I'm suggesting this basketball is because of the NBA logo it has on it. My reasoning for that is because we want these beginner basketball players to continue to grow and develop into better basketball players. We want this to become a passion, a habit, a hobby of theirs over a long period of time. And so you're starting out that hobby by getting them a good quality basketball, namely a basketball that is directly associated with the NBA. So you want them to have a basketball that's of some kind of notoriety. This, of course, is not the official NBA game leather super expensive basketball, but at least it's associated with the NBA, which then, in theory, gives them a little bit more incentive to use it, to show it off, to take it to the park, to show it to their friends, to share the basketball, let them know that they have a good quality basketball. You can find links to this basketball down in the comments and the description of this video. It is an affiliate link of mine, but I really do love this basketball. This is probably currently my favorite rubber basketball that I have, and I have a number of them because of the grip of this basketball is so amazing. And I also have a review of this basketball as well. But the reason I think this is a great basketball for beginners is not only is it a basic rubber basketball, but it has great grip. At the time of this recording, it cost $17 on Amazon, so it's at a really good price. For that price, you get a really good product. It's associated with the NBA, and this basketball will perform as well as you can expect for a beginner kind of basketball. At $17, I don't think you're going to find a much better quality rubber basketball on the market. You may find another basketball that is associated with a certain player, it's a certain brand and it has, an association with a certain kind of player. It may be a very good quality, but my general overall recommendation is don't get that player, that beginner. Don't try to, zone them in on a certain player. Now, maybe if, that player happens to be, that beginner player's, favorite NBA player, that's one thing. But if that beginner doesn't yet have a favorite basketball player, then just get them associated with the NBA because the NBA is the highest level of basketball. That's the best types of basketball for beginner players. Don't worry about composite or synthetic leather. Certainly don't concern yourself with leather basketballs. Those are for indoor use only. Don't even concern yourself about the higher end features that certain basketballs, rubber basketballs have, like, certain kind of pebbling on the cover to give it a certain kind of grip, or the grip channels of the basketball, or even how long the durability of a basketball is going to last you. Just get a good quality rubber basketball from the beginning. Let them experience what it's like to have good quality basketball in their possession, what it's like to use that good quality basketball. Hopefully, they will enjoy that experience enough so that they will come back to it over and over again as they wear out the basketballs, and as they do so, as they start to build their game, they will also then start to build what they require from a basketball, which will then require them to buy, basketballs that are more expensive with bigger, better features and increase in price. But at the beginning, you want it to be enjoyable. That's what you want. You want joy. You want enjoyment. So don't get them a cheap basketball just because it doesn't cost much money. Get them whatever basketball you think they are going to enjoy the most. A basketball they're going to use over and over again for an extended period of time. With a beginner basketball, the theory is to kind of, sow the seeds of enjoyment and passion and let it grow into being a hobby, one that's going to last over years and years. And the best way to do that is to get them a good quality ball that they are going to enjoy using. That ball should also be just a basic rubber basketball, but that doesn't mean cheap. It doesn't mean one that's going to wear out immediately. It just means one that's of decent quality that they're going to hopefully enjoy using. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you think this video is helpful, if you think it's going to help you choose the right basketball for a beginner, then please subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that thanks button down below. When you do that, it makes your comments stand out. It highlights them. Not only that, but it directly supports the channel, and for anyone that does that, I genuinely appreciate it. As always, like, share these videos, and comment down below. Also, hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever any of my videos go live. And until then, I'll see you guys next week.
But the ears wide open and hear it. Ain't no static up in a room, there's no interference. Get a dustpan in a room, I'm bringing the clearance. Put you people quick to assume, but never quicker to move. Change the status quo. All we know was never stand alone. Old saints up in the catacombs. Change coming, you know what matters most. This, that, no chit chat. Down on the riff raff, big name, big facts. Who you know spit that? I came, my aim, big change, give back. Something big here now.